Good afternoon, everybody. Forgive the slight delay in getting us underway. A few late arrivals that we desperately want to accommodate, so we've managed to do so. So, welcome to Bath Forum. My name is Mark McGuinness. I am one of the university's Pro-Vice Chancellors, a member of the academic community here at Bath Spa, and it's my great honour to be the Master of Ceremonies for today, to lead us through this procession, this long-awaited, for many of you, graduation ceremony. I'd like to set the scene a little by talking a little bit about our building, because it is entirely appropriate we're here in the forum for this celebration today. It was listed, Grade 2 star listed, in the beginning of this century. It dates from the 1930s. But one thing that's notable about this particular heritage asset in a city that's awash with them is just how much it plays a role in the community. The people of Bath use this place. This is a place people come to listen to music, to listen to and be entertained by comedians, by speakers. Schools and colleges use this building. My own kids have crossed this stage, this very stage, dressed as reindeers. Well, they did. Yeah. It's an amazing institution in the city. It's where people come to be entertained, to celebrate, and to enjoy themselves. And I really hope today is all of those things and many more as we celebrate your achievement. Bringing together a public event in the current circumstances as we emerge out of a pandemic was always going to be challenging, and thank you for bearing with us, your patience as we've gone through our many preparations and supporting where you can those measures we've put in place to keep people safe. And some of those apply to the stage today, which I'll refer to as we go through. I would also like to thank my colleagues, most of whom are volunteers, who volunteer time and time again because they know just how important and just how much and how enjoyable these ceremonies are as we celebrate the achievement of the people who've been in and around our university community for the period of time of their studies. And this is a really good punctuation mark in their journey through life. And we always get volunteers, and I want to thank every single one of them. I'd also like to thank Bath Forum Limited for their support with the venue. Also Premier Brass Quintet, who've brought live music back for the first time since the pandemic. Welcome back, everybody. And I'd also like to thank Apex Hotel, who were able to provide facilities for robing. And finally, and perhaps unusually, I'd like to thank the public health team at Bath and North East Somerset Council for their excellent advice throughout the long period of planning for this series of events that we've run throughout spring 2022. Some of them were delivered within the restrictions period, some out of them, but they've given excellent advice, and I'd like to just signal their contribution. And I'll come to my main job here introducing the ceremony, which is to make sure that everybody understands the flow of the ceremony today. It's not a rammed auditorium today. We have plenty of time, we've got plenty of space, we can take our time through the various sequence of events today, but I shall just run through that now and then a few words for the graduates. So the ceremony will commence with a fanfare from our live music here at the front. The fanfare will herald the arrival of the academic procession, which is busily assembling outside of sight at the moment. The academic procession is an important part of every graduation ceremony. It's a very colourful, splendid, a wonderful sight. Academic staff will wear the colours of their last awarding institution, as I do here in front of you today, and indeed as our graduates do today, wearing the colours of our university. So it's a very colourful assembly of different types of robes. I hope you enjoy that. It is a very splendid affair as they come in. They will walk their way up this ramp and onto the stage. Before they do that, I'll ask everyone to stand, and if you could remain standing if you're able to, throughout that period that the academic procession assembles on the stage, that would be appreciated. The last person in the academic procession is always the Vice-Chancellor, and she will be the last person on stage. She will take her seat last, and as she sits down, that is the cue for everybody in the auditorium, including the procession, to take their seat. So I hope that's clear when to stand, when to sit, and so on. I'm delighted to say the Vice-Chancellor made it very clear to me when it became apparent that we were able to progress with graduation. She wanted to be at every ceremony to congratulate every graduate who survived the pandemic. And she is here today to do that. I'll move us from the academic procession through various preambles. The Vice-Chancellor will give a welcome speech. We will then have an honorary award. We will have an Egretat award as well today. We will also then process every graduate who's present here today. There is a program that you will receive, graduates, which has everybody in your cohort listed, including those who aren't here today. And once we have gone through every graduate that's been presented to the Vice-Chancellor, we will confer the awards, including those who are not present today. The actual mechanics of it, and I'll speak specifically to the graduates, when the time is right for you to leave your seat, you'll be beckoned by one of our stewards over here. Give them a wave. Yeah, there you go. And they will move you down this channel where they're standing, in fact, to the steps, or if you need to use the ramp, obviously that's there for anyone to use as well if you'd prefer. You will meet me as you come up the stairs, and I will perhaps tell you to hold back a bit if we're trying to just keep some distance between graduates as they process across the stage, or indeed I may ask you to speed up. So that's what my signals will hopefully be. You will be on these steps here. Please, there may be one or two new shoes today. I'm just thinking. Also, this is the last ceremony of the day, so maybe there's been opportunity to take in some, alcohol. I don't know. But maybe it would be a good idea just to take care on these steps. It wouldn't be a disaster if you fell over on the steps. We'd deal with it, but I'm sure you'd rather not. So just take care as you come up those steps. We have a well-tested, tried and tested plan, and it involves one key bit of information to get you on stage in the right order. That is that you stay in the order you're in now, unless you're directed to do so by one of our stewards. It's really important you do that. Our readers have a list that reflects the order you're seated in now. So if you change around, then I don't know what will happen, but we'd rather you didn't. Thank you. When you get to the stage and you're coming up the steps, if you are wearing a face mask, you are it's perfectly reasonable to remove it as you cross the stage. We do have cameras around. If you would like the historical record to be with that mask, that's absolutely fine. We've set the stage out so that the academic procession is some way back, so you don't need to worry about distance and so on. You just cross the stage on the blue carpet. That's absolutely fine. It is a non-contact ceremony, so there won't be handshakes, but the Vice-Chancellor will be present in the middle of the room and will tip a hat to you. And as you cross the stage, look out for your loved ones, give them a wave. Don't forget the people at home on live stream as well, wherever they are. And give them a wave. I don't know, if any moonwalking is done, that's usually a pretty good one. It's an opportunity for you to show off your steps, okay? Throw some shapes, I think it's called. It was when I was younger anyway. Right, so as your name is read by the reader, just cross the stage, you'll cross the blue carpet to the far side and down the steps on the other side. So in effect, you're just moving around the auditorium, one anti-clockwise circuit. I hope that's all clear. Don't worry if it's not, because our ushers have been trained and briefed and they'll be able to help you. As you leave the stage, you might want to put your face covering back on as you re-enter the auditorium with all of our guests, and that'd be appreciated if you were able to do so. The ceremony will close shortly after that. The Vice-Chancellor will offer some words at the end, and then I will ask everyone to stand again for the academic procession. And the academic procession will go out in reverse order, and they will go out the way they came in, so through this middle channel here, in the middle of the auditorium in the stalls. Graduates, you will be exited out of the auditorium not the way you came in. You will go out through the doors on the ground floor on that side to your left, in the far left corner. That's to stop the foyer becoming overcrowded as everybody tries to leave, and you'll be asked row by row to come out. And that's the opportunity for your audience, and I'm hoping it's an easy audience to work today, because they all love you, to give you a round of applause as you leave the auditorium as a graduate procession. So hopefully there's no pressure on the guests there to give them a good send-off, but that's worked well in other ceremonies. So finally, a few short housekeeping announcements. If you have your mobile phone with you, this is your last chance to check it's on silent or turned off. Your safety, of course, is our foremost concern. If you need any help, assistance, or first aid, please attract the attention of any member of staff who will get that assistance to you as appropriate. In the unlikely event we need to evacuate the building for any reason, there will be a clear instruction to do so. Otherwise, we're not expecting anything to happen. So a clear instruction to do so, and you'll be guided out of the building safely. We will, after the event, we'll send you a brief anonymous survey to get your feedback. That is really important to us. We've had to reinvent elements of these events for obvious reasons, and so we need to know what works, what doesn't. We are fully caught up with our graduates after this ceremony, which is a really nice thing to say. We've really wanted to be in that position for some time. Those that were postponed during the pandemic have all now been delivered after this ceremony. So we'll be back to normal in July with the next round of graduations, and so your feedback will be really helpful to us in planning that. I'd like to end actually just by saying something on a personal note. I'm the father of 2 children, one at secondary school, one at primary school. And whilst I have always had a healthy respect, even admiration for teachers, my experience of 10 weeks of lockdown that first time round made me realize just what an amazing, difficult, challenging, but rewarding job you do for our children. I am so proud to be associated with a university that supports the training of teachers. You make such a difference to the world. Thank you. That's very kind, but the applause is all theirs. Now, if everybody would please stand for the entry of the academic procession. graduates, your guests, colleagues. Ladies and gentlemen, I call upon the Vice-Chancellor of Bath Spa University, Professor Sue Rigby, to open this graduation ceremony.
Well done! We finally got here. We finally arrived. It's absolutely wonderful. Wonderful to see our graduating students and guests. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So, friends, graduands, colleagues, a very warm welcome to the Bath Spa University graduations. And colleagues, if you wish to, you may now remove your hats. I don't know why we always say that, but you wouldn't graduate if I didn't. So it's a ceremony, that's what we do. We're delighted to hold this ceremony in the forum and very grateful to the staff here for all the help that they give to us and will also have given to you. I'm very grateful to the many university staff who've given up their Saturday to be part of this event. And finally, of course, incredibly grateful to our brilliant musicians who make such a difference to this ceremony. It's an absolutely key characteristic of Bath Spa that we can add that kind of joy and creativity and live music to an event like this. We're here to celebrate the fantastic achievements of our graduating students, some of whom graduated in 2020 and some in 2021. You've all followed an unprecedented and difficult road to get here, and it is marvellous, just marvellous to see you today. We also recognise in this ceremony the achievement and unfulfilled potential of a student whose award today is posthumous. Hannah Kinch was a student who loved and thrived at Bath Spa. She was formidably successful here and would have made an outstanding teacher. But more than anything else, she was your friend. She brought joy and meaning to the people who knew her. And we're privileged that her parents, Pete and Anne, her sister Amy, and her godmother Natalie are here today, and in a little while, Amy will receive her award. Finally, at the end of this ceremony, we will honour one of the finest teachers of her generation, who many of you will have been lucky enough to have known. Pat Black has inspired, encouraged, challenged and modelled the best of teaching to you, the best of students. And I'm delighted that she's with us this afternoon and very much look forward to that part of her ceremony. Each degree accomplished comes with a narrative of hard work, late nights, panicked visits to the library, coffee, I have to say that, and stress-busting cakes, perhaps other substances, with friends. I'm sure not in your case. And a growing sense of confidence and capability. Very few of us emerge unchanged from that process of studying for a degree, whether it's your first, second, third, however many. And you shouldn't, or it wouldn't have done its job. As with any life-changing event, growing up, having children, falling in love, you can't imagine it until you've done it, and then everything is altered. You can't go back now, graduands, you are made new. But can I invite you to just take a moment to think about that individual journey that's brought you to this point? I think we all on the platform know the generic journey that you've taken, but for each one of you, it's been an individual process of going through the real highs of learning effectively and gaining in confidence, and probably those lows where maybe a lesson didn't go as well as it could, or a class were unruly, or just your motivation failed a little bit. And just to think back on that, now that it's all behind you, should be a really empowering thing to do. So just take a moment to embrace that individual journey. Although studying for and receiving a degree is something individual, it's accomplished, well, we hope it is. never mind. It is accomplished within that supportive framework of friends and family, many of whom are here to celebrate with you today. And in a moment, graduates, I'd like to ask you to stand up and to give a big round of applause to the folk who've helped you to get to this point, both those who are in the room and those who couldn't be here today in person, but are definitely thinking about you and maybe even watching you on live stream at this moment. So if you're happy with that, could you stand up, turn to face your supporters and give them a big round of applause. Well accomplished. So no need to stand up again. But can I also ask you to join me in thanking those staff who've taught you or supported you in other ways through your studies. I'm privileged to lead a group of outstanding academics and professionals who have you, their students, at the heart of what they do. They work late hours, and many of them, especially through COVID, and they are as delighted by your attainments as you are. So please join me in thanking them as well. This is a high point in the university calendar, a day of great joy, but also of great sadness. A university isn't actually a combination of buildings or a set of past achievements. It's a community of learners, nothing more and nothing less. Whether we were learning online or face-to-face, whether you were in a classroom, in a school, or a seminar room in the university, that community is what the university comprises. You've been a central part of that for a while now, and as you've left us, we miss you and we are lessened by your going. While we'd have it no other way than that you graduate from our world and move on, you leave a big gap, and we are very sorry to say goodbye. But keep in touch. You are always a part of the Bath Spa community. If we can help you in any way in the future, let us know. And we would love to hear about your successes and stories in the coming years. And we are a community to be very proud of. Our roots stretch deep, back into the 1850s. And since that time, some of Britain's finest artists and teachers have worked with us. But we are a university of the 21st century, designed to meet the challenges of a post-industrial, highly volatile and rapidly changing world. You graduate in uncertain times, don't you just at the moment, with an academic armoury that will allow you to thrive. You are creative, critical, analytical, able to dance on the margins of knowledge and open your mind to the unknown. You don't rush to decisions, you don't rush to blame. Rather, you bring your high-level academic skills to bear on a problem or an opportunity, and in doing so, you make the world a better place. A degree in education has never been more important. Education empowers the future and the people who will make it. It levels inequalities, opens opportunities, changes every child, changes the world. Your skills will help children to be their best selves as you bring joy and challenge to their lives. However you choose to use your invaluable skills, we wish you satisfaction and fulfillment in the years to come. Success for you may be out in the world, or it may be inside a small group of valued family and friends. Remember, there is no external metric of achievement, only the small voice inside that expresses pride and determination as you make your way through life. But if I had to choose a set of people to make a difference and to make things better, it would be you, our graduates. And just now, I can ask no less of you than that you thrive in your life journeys, that you make a difference, and that in doing so, piece by piece, but relentlessly, you change everything. You have the rest of your life to spend, and I will be delighted to watch as you spend it wisely and for the benefit of others in these dark times. So well done, graduates. Have a great day. You have earned it, and I salute you.
We now move to the presentation of awards.
People who enter the teaching profession do so because they want to give back. They take more pleasure in the success of others than they do from their own success. They are selfless and see the very best in everyone. Hannah was no exception. She wrote that she wanted to shape the future of her students' lives and inspire them to achieve their potential. And while her opportunity to do this was cut short, the impact she had continues to be felt by everyone she touched. You see, it only takes a comment, a smile, a single moment in time when you listen and show someone that you care for them to feel truly valued and part of something much bigger. Hannah took every opportunity to do this. She did it with her students, inspiring in them a sense of awe and wonder about the world, and a need to protect the environment, particularly the ocean, which she loved so much, a belief that they really can make a difference. She did it with her friends and colleagues through kindness, patience, and warmth. Hannah embodied and wholeheartedly believed in what she was training to be, and what in many ways she already was, a teacher. That special person in society that people can learn from and aspire to be like, a role model. She did this effortlessly and with great modesty about her own ability. An understated way of simply being brilliant that made her approachable, relatable, and to many colleagues on her course, enviable. It isn't possible to do justice to the amazing person that Hannah was or the teacher she was becoming, nor is it fair that she isn't here to collect this award herself. It is fair and utterly right, though, that we remember her and that her family be presented with this award on her behalf, for us all to share in the overwhelming sense of pride they undoubtedly feel in what she achieved, the effect of which is felt and will continue to be felt in the impact she had on everyone who knew her. She really was the very best kind of teacher and person we all try to be. It is with great honor that the university present this award to Hannah's family, her parents, Anne and Pete, her sister Amy, and brother Matthew, in recognition of Hannah's achievement on the PGC Geography program, and I warmly invite Amy to the stage to accept it on her behalf. Vice-Chancellor, I present to you the following candidate for the award of Postgraduate Certificate in Education in Secondary Geography, Hannah Kinch.
We now continue the presentation of awards to graduates of Bath Spa University. And I call upon the Vice-Chancellor to receive graduates from our School of Education.
I present the following candidates for the award of Postgraduate Certificate in Education, Primary and Early Years, 3 to 7 route. Tesney Francis Brett. Millie Louise Dodd. Sian Marie Morris. Lydia Orange. Kirsten Vines. Lauren Westlake. I present the following candidates for the award of Postgraduate Certificate in Education, Primary and Early Years 5 to 11 route. Rachel Baikwazo. Joshua Bolton. Rachel Ann Davis. Amy Elizabeth Ellery. Anna Gale. Holly Gibbs. Elizabeth Grosvenor. Andrew James Davidson Porteous. Kitty Rankin. Summer Atlanta Redford. Nathan Redshaw. Samuel Ronan Stoppard. Harriet Talley. Charlotte Walker. Gabrielle Wills. I present the following candidates for the award of Postgraduate Certificate in Education, Primary and Early Years, School Direct 5 to 11 route. Sarah Bell. Justine Sarah Bowers. Rebecca Ann May Crowther. Laura Lynham. Edward Williams. I present the following candidates for the award of Postgraduate Certificate in Education, Primary and Early Years 5 to 11 route with Arts Specialism. Dania Ibrahim Al-Mabadeen. Elizabeth Rose Haig. Elaine Gale Jackson. I present the following candidates for the award of Postgraduate Certificate in Education, Primary and Early Years 5 to 11 route with Behaviour for Learning Specialism. Amber Jane Lakey. Adrienne Vicky Tomatis. I present the following candidates for the award of Postgraduate Certificate in Education, Primary and Early Years 5 to 11 route with English Specialism. Nikita Jennifer Bidwell. Melissa Joanne Pike. Danielle Louise Powell. Claudia Puckey. Chloe Smith.
I present the following candidate for the award of Postgraduate Certificate in Education, Primary and Early Years, 5 to 11 route with Mathematics Specialism, Matthew Hughes. I present the following candidates for the award of Postgraduate Certificate in Education, Primary and Early Years, 5 to 11 route with Science Specialism, Imogen Davey. Ankita Gurung. I present the following candidates for the award of Postgraduate Certificate in Education, Primary and Early Years, 5 to 11 route with SEND Specialism, Kaylee Marie Aylott. Maisie Ballinger. And Harold Bowen. Claire Marie Cunningham. Bethany Donaldson. Jo Eva Eddington. Holly Maidley. Safia Rashid Thomas. Anna Ware. Hayley Nicolette Webb. I present the following candidate for the award of Postgraduate Certificate in Education, Primary and Early Years, 7 to 11 route, Charito Smith. I present the following candidate for the award of Postgraduate Certificate in Education, Primary and Early Years, 7 to 11 route with Arts Specialism, Flora Coward.
I present the following candidate for the award of Postgraduate Certificate in Education in Secondary Art and Design, Ellen Roberts. I present the following candidates for the award of Postgraduate Certificate in Education in Secondary Biology, Jamie Lee Allgrove. Alexander William Peebles-Brown. Grace Martha Shepherd. I present the following candidate for the award of Postgraduate Certificate in Education in Secondary Computing, School Direct, Hannah White Overtob. I present the following candidates for the award of Postgraduate Certificate in Education in Secondary Design and Technology, Emily Hurst. Victoria Smith. I present the following candidate for the award of Postgraduate Certificate in Education in Secondary English, Katie Louise Samuel. I present the following candidates for the award of Postgraduate Certificate in Education in Secondary English, School Direct, Sophie Maxted. Gemma O'Brien. Charlotte Elaine Robbins. I present the following candidates for the award of Postgraduate Certificate in Education in Secondary Geography: Elizabeth Allen. Rosie Iris Wadsworth. I present the following candidates for the award of Postgraduate Certificate in Education in Secondary Geography, School Direct: Ruby Anderson. Suzanne Wills. I present the following candidates for the award of Postgraduate Certificate in Education in Secondary History: Miranda Combert. Oliver Douglas Kerr-Williams. I present the following candidates for the award of Postgraduate Certificate in Education in Secondary Mathematics: Deanna May Vernon. Zoe Wynn. I present the following candidate for the award of Postgraduate Certificate in Education in Secondary Mathematics, School Direct: Will Ness. I present the following candidate for the award of Postgraduate Certificate in Education in Secondary Music: John James Gordon. I present the following candidates for the award of Postgraduate Certificate in Education in Secondary Physical Education: Rosanna Blacker. Sean David Clark. Emily Clothier. Rebecca Phoebe Davison-Smith. William Glover. Ella Johnson. Cassidy Mills. Amy Ann Nichols. I present the following candidates for the award of Postgraduate Certificate in Education in Secondary Physical Education, School Direct: Emily Weston. I present the following candidate for the award of Postgraduate Certificate in Education in Secondary Physical Education with English Baccalaureate, Biology: Molly Barton. I present the following candidate for the award of Postgraduate Certificate in Education in Secondary Physical Education with English Baccalaureate, History: Christopher Coleman. I present the following candidate for the award of Postgraduate Certificate in Education in Secondary Religious Education: Eve Tamsin McDermott. Is that it?
So great to see so many teachers. The university has, within its gift, the authority to award honorary degrees to individuals whose achievements and activities are resonant with the core values of our institution. We now make one such award, and I am extremely pleased to invite Kyriaki Anagnostopoulou to propose the award of Honorary Doctorate of Education to Pat Black.
Vice-Chancellor, distinguished guests, colleagues, graduates and friends, it is my pleasure and honour to read the citation for Pat Black for the award of Honorary Doctor of Education. Pat Black has been associated with Bath University for over 26 years. Initially as a mature student on the BA Education Studies, from which she graduated with a first-class degree, and later as a valued member of staff. Pat believes that teaching is a noble profession, and she dedicated her professional career initially to educating children directly, and later focusing on educating the teachers of the future, including all our graduates here today. After a successful career working in nurseries, schools, youth organizations in the southwest of England, and eventually becoming a deputy head teacher, Pat joined Bath Spa University as an academic in 1999 on various contracts. She eventually worked her way up to becoming head of initial teacher education, a post which she held from 2013 until recently. She held this post with great integrity, care, kindness, diplomacy, and humility. During her time at Bath Spa, she was an integral part of establishing the university's high standards in initial teacher education, promoting excellence in training and consistently raising the profile of the university nationally, as well as contributing to a number of international projects. This includes recently co-leading a project on upskilling in-service teachers in Egypt, so that they are able to support the education of displaced refugee children and the most disadvantaged. Her strong belief that education is a powerful tool that helps address societal inequalities is imprinted in the school's motto, School of Education's motto, which is that every child deserves the best teacher. And Pat has strategically led our provision to ensure that all our graduates here today are the very best teachers. She has been a true innovator. She has advised on and supported numerous Department for Education initiatives aimed at developing new routes into teaching, and in order to address the shortage of teachers that we are experiencing nationally and globally. Her expertise has not only benefited Bath Spa University, but the initial teacher education sector as a whole. She is recognized as an expert in her field, highly respected, and regularly called upon by the media to comment on educational policy, educational practice, and developments in the school sector. She continues to serve on a number of committees and working groups that aim to establish fair and rigorous standards for the sector. Her work has ultimately benefited our graduates and will benefit the children they will go on to teach and inspire. An indicative selection of her engagements includes being Vice Chair of the University's Council for the Education of Teachers, regularly attending million-plus meetings with the Department for Education, being the Teach First executive lead for Bath Spa University since 2016, participating in Ofsted pilots that established and refined new inspection criteria for all initial teacher education providers in England, and being a trustee of the Palladian Academy Trust, as well as an advisor to many other multi-academy trusts and schools. Pat's contributions to the region are evident, as all her professional work has helped to train the teaching workforce in hundreds of local schools to the highest standard. It is due to Pat and her expert academic leadership that Bath Spa University has an outstanding Ofsted rating for its teacher education provision for the past 6 years, meaning that our Bath Spa teachers are very well qualified to meet the needs of children. Pat quietly retired from her post at Bath Spa in December 2021, although she remains with us as a valued advisor and an advocate for continued excellence, continuing to support us through the turbulent initial teacher education policy landscape. Vice-Chancellor, it is my pleasure to present Pat Black for the award of Honorary Doctor of Education.
Vice-Chancellor, colleagues, graduates, families and friends, I am so proud and privileged to receive this honorary doctorate from BASPA University, my university. But this prestigious award is not about my success and my merit, but it's about the communities I have lived in, learned from and loved, and the guidance and support I have received from the members of those communities. My success and recognition that I have achieved throughout my life and in my career have been achieved through working and learning from others. Added to that, I've had my fair share of luck and opportunities. There's an old African proverb that says, if you want to go quickly, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. So today, I would like to say thank you to the communities who have shaped my life and guided my career in education. I'd like to start to say thank you to my family, to my parents, especially my mum, and to my brother and sister. The community I grew up in had its challenges: poverty, religious divide, political divisions, but our front door was always opened, and the teapot was always full. And my mum, who had originally come from a farming community in the north of Scotland, always managed to moderate views and offer us alternative ways of understanding difference. So I'd also like to say thank you to my own family, and here today, my daughter, my son, and his partner. Also, I'd like to say thank you to my wonderful grandsons. Observing my own children and my grandchildren learning as they were growing up taught me how they develop in very different ways, and that their approaches to learning and to understanding the world are very different. That's where my interest and fascination for how children learn, and also for how the factors that influence the learning, that's where it first began. Now, my family, and especially my grandsons, are without doubt leading my learning and not just contributing to it. We've always been a family that freely shares views and opinions, but now I am introduced to debates and arguments I would never have accessed, and that now challenge as well as enhance my ongoing learning, especially those views from the younger generation. I'd also like to say thank you to the BASPA community, to my colleagues here today, thank you, and to the colleagues I've worked with in the past. In this thank you, I'm also thanking all colleagues from across BASPA University. As teacher educators, we are under constant change from government of the day. My particular interest has been in where policy meets practice, which is just as well, because I've had plenty of time to indulge that opportunity and that interest through all the changes that are consistently made. Some Secretary of States for Education have come and gone like a gentle summer breeze, while others, and I'll try not to mention the names that spring to mind, have been more like tsunamis with wave after wave of change. But as a team, we've worked through white papers, green papers, circulars, guidance, advice, compliance criteria, inspection frameworks. I could go on and on. But our approach and our mission has always been to try and make it manageable for our trainees and for the mentors and for the children and young people they teach. I believe it was John Lewis, my favourite store, but John Lewis, who once said, if you work together with a mission and it's grounded with love and a sense of community, you can make that mission possible. In my thanks today, I'd like to thank the wider teacher education community, both national and international. It has been hugely humbling to see how many of our international colleagues are facing challenges that we will probably never encounter. I would especially like to thank our Arab-Israeli teacher educators in Israel, our teacher educators in the Corporate Belt in Zambia, and the teacher educators we are currently working with from Greece, Egypt, and Cyprus. They are supporting Syrian refugee children into their new communities. I can't say thank you without thanking our partnership schools and the communities that they serve, their school leaders, their staff, and their children. The work we do as teacher educators cannot be done without these colleagues, and they have worked endlessly with us over many years to shape our programs and our curriculum and to support our trainees. The close partnership we have with them has resulted from a long and shared understanding of their environment and the challenges they face, and of course ours too. One of the many joys of working with our schools over a long period of time is that you see how our trainees go on to be mentors and school leaders in our partnership, and they too in turn will support the next generation of teacher trainers. Finally, I'd like to say thank you to all the learners, whether adults, young people, or children that I've taught and worked with. You are the members of the communities that are central to what we do daily and throughout the years that we've all been involved in education. In the 1960s, Lady Plowden was commissioned by the then Secretary of State for Education to do a review of education in England. When she presented her report, she started that report by saying, "At the heart of the educational process lies the child." She then went on to say, "No advances in policy, no acquisition of new equipment have their desired effects unless they are in harmony with the nature of the child and unless they are fundamentally acceptable to him." I have actually thought about sending that report to some of our Secretary of States that we do have. I'd like to end with a quote from Mahatma Gandhi. "The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others." Thank you for this award and for allowing me the time here today to honour the people that I have served throughout my career. Thank you.
Vice-Chancellor, in addition to those candidates presented to you here, I commend to you the other candidates listed but in absentia for the conferment of their various awards.
This is the key bit. If I get this wrong, you don't get a degree, just saying. By my authority as Vice-Chancellor of Bath Spa University, I confer the awards of those candidates here present and those in absentia. And graduates, in a health and safety approved manner, you may now remove your hats. Well done. Bear in mind that Eden Ravenscroft just need the same number of hats back that they gave out. Just thought you'd like to know. I'd like to close this ceremony with an Irish blessing. May the road rise up to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face, the rains fall soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, may your God hold you in the palm of his hand. I declare this ceremony closed.
Please stand for the academic procession. Thank you.